Or can we do multiple choice then today instead? Because like right now on my desktop, it's not configuring, allowing me to edit. I don't know why.
Okay. That's fine. You can just like walk me through your code then, and I'll write it out then. I mean, it's okay. Just like try doing like before the test, just try writing one of these by yourself.
Okay. Okay, so it'd be a for loop, and then we want to increment, so we want to go from the first value of the string to the last value. So it'll be int equals 0, int I equals 0 to it equals length minus 1.
Until it's less.
Or less than length minus 1.
Okay.
And inside that, we want to assess, I was going by 1. We would like to assess whether the first value is an A or not.
Okay.
Okay, so if we would do an if I, like the value of I equals A, and I guess we'd have to insert, actually, should we are we assuming it's already all capitalized, these four, or should we have to like capitalize all of these by default within the code of Scramble Word?
So if you check over here, the precondition, it says the word is either an empty string or it contains only uppercase letters.
Okay, so we're good with that. Okay, so then if I equals capital A, well,
is that the only condition you want?
And then the other one would be if it doesn't equal capital A, that's when we have more code, I think.
Okay. Do you want to do like an else if or an else or?
Yeah, sure.
Which one do you want?
If or else. Else.
Okay.
Else, just else would be fine.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so now is the confusing part. So it says every 2 non-letter A's should be if there's an A next to 2 non-letter A's, those 2 places should be scrambled. So if we're incrementing by 1 each time, and we're checking if it's A or not, we have to somehow, I don't know how we'd go about this actually.
How to go about what? Like checking I?
Yeah, checking how, like, after every 2 consecutive values, if there's an A, you have to swap them. I assume we have to use Boolean somewhere, like true or false. But I'm not sure how it's going to, like, right now it's going, let's just say, like, for example, our word is name, just for fun. Okay. So it's going through the first time, so the first letter is N. If it's A, it's going to implement some code. If not, it's going to do some other code we're going to set. Then it comes to the second value, and it says A. So like, how is it going to store the N versus A? The precondition just says that whenever there's 2 consecutive followed by an A, you have to switch it. If it just said if there's an A, you have to switch it with the previous, I think that would have been a little more like. But this one, I'm not sure how to tell it, like, every 2 consecutive.
Okay, so your question is like, how do I, like, say I go into this, I get the word command, I get A here.
Yeah.
I want to stop at N. Your question is like, how can I swap it when, like, I'm currently at index like 1 and this is index 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you should so you know a couple of things, just right off the bat from what they tell you. So you know that you're gonna want to compare 2 things, right? When you find an A, you're gonna want to compare this one with the other one, and you have the index for A.
Oh, I think I got it. Actually, sorry, hang on, sorry, that's just a light bulb. Okay, so can I try it now?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so after if I equals A, then we have to write swap.
You want to do a swap?
Yeah, we have to write switch. How do you code switch? Oh, we have to set we have to set I plus 1 equal to A and set the I plus 1 to this one. So we have to set so okay, let's just suppose, like, let's just suppose the word is and. So the value of A would be 0, and then N would be 1, and D would be 2. So let's say the first word is an A. So whenever it hits an A, we're coding it that it swaps with the one next to it. So we want the value of that's sitting in position 0 to switch with the value that's sitting in position 1. So we would set the value 0. So set
For what? The value 0 for what?
with the value of 2. A value of what's sitting in 1.
But when you say the value 0, you mean like the first letter in the string?
Yeah, we're setting the first value, letter in the string with the letter next to it.
Okay. Well, do you know how to set like do you know how to set that a particular part of the string to be another letter?
I know it has to be a set method, like you said it, but I'm not sure exactly how you would dictate it.
So there's a few ways you could go about this, about what you want to do. So one way, which is like what I would do, or but it's not the only way to do it, is I would have made an empty string, and then I'll add things to the empty string as I'm rearranging them, right? So if it's
Yeah.
yeah. So you could do that, or you could do the method char at, which will give you the character at a string, and then you can like reset that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Which way would you prefer to do?
We can do it the empty string way.
Okay, cool. So let's say we have an empty string, whatever, string, scrambled string, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's where you're going to be adding the letters once you
Formalize them, right?
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So yeah. So now you said if you find an A in the string, which by the way, how do you? So I is a number, it'll be, represents the index. How do you actually get like this? How do you actually check the characters in Word?
Don't you have to say if the value equals?
What do you mean the value?
Like for example, I is the placement, right?
Yeah.
So we have to check what's held in the placement. So we'll have to get the value in the placement.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But do you know how to get that placement?
Wouldn't it be get dot? I think it's a get control, right?
Well, for strings in particular, the method is called char at. So you do like word.char at, and then you do I, and that'll give you the character at a particular index in the string, right? So it's like if let's say this is 0, then this is checks the first thing in the string, and if that's A, then you'll go into the if statement.
Okay, makes sense.
Right. So right now here we're checking if a character is equal to A, and then what do we do if it's equal to A?
If it's equal to A, we have to get the value of I plus 1.
Okay.
And switch that and set that equal to the placement of I.
Okay, that sounds good. How would you do that in code?
Okay, so I'm guessing here, but you would first, we need to do again word.char at I plus 1. We need to get that, right? That's how you would code for that, right? Okay, I plus 1, right?
Yeah. Didn't you say you want to get both of them though?
Yeah.
Okay.
But assuming that we already know it's A, right?
That's true. You do already know it's A.
But it's always nice to have it, because what if we need it like later on?
Well, up to you. Well, let's just go with the first thing you said before I messed you up.
Okay, that's fine.
So we have word.char at I plus 1, which is whatever is next to A, right?
Right. Now we need to set that value. Let's store that value. Should we store it as a variable? Yeah, we should, because now we're just calling it, right?
Sure.
Can we go ahead and write print that out so that when we run it, if there's an error, we can track it.
Sure.
Okay, so now let's set it to variable. I'm just gonna say change. So we'll just set a variable like int change, or let's do char change. Sorry, because it's
Mhm. Perfect.
change word equals, and we're setting that equal to that word that char at I plus 1.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. And then I'll just put change here. There you go. Awesome.
Okay. Now we have to okay. So we have to do int I equals we're setting it equal to change, right?
But I is an integer and change is a
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. So we need to at int I we need to store the value of change.
At what is int I?
Uh, the placement, like you know how it's like the placement for the string, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's what we're
Right.
going by, like for int equals I to word length. So at that placement, we're switching it, right?
Okay, so you're saying you're gonna okay. So you're saying wherever I is right now, that's where the I plus 1 is gonna go.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
exactly.
That makes sense. So how would you,
Okay.
or like where would you?
So I don't know exactly, but to code for int I, we'd have to set int I equal to change.
Well, int I it's
I understand. Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
I think I know
That's
what you're trying to say. You're trying to say you want to take that in the index I, and then in our scramble string, you want to like, hey, at scramble string index I want the character to be I plus 1, right?
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's do that. Okay, scrambled string. Uh, Give me a second.
Yeah. That's how we would do it.
Right. Oh, another thing. So just to keep in mind, so strings in Java, you can't just they're immutable. So what that means is that like say if I have the word tap or something, you can't like change a to be something else because they're objects, right? It's not in other programming languages, strings are arrays of characters, right? So you can just change one. It's like changing an array, but not in Java. So that's why we're doing the whole thing with the empty string. So you can like
Because we're creating a new string, pretty much.
right, exactly. So
Okay, that makes sense.
so I see your logic with wanting to use I, but you already know that whatever you're at right now, like you're gonna build this string from scratch, right? So you can just do um, plus equals, and then you'll add change, right? That means
Yeah,
that wherever I was, which is in this case it would be 0, that's gonna be I plus 1 in this one.
correct.
Yep. And then
Makes sense.
mhm.
Yeah. And then we have to code that in this new string, scramble string equals scramble string plus change, right? We need to code that the first I value has to go after the change. So we have to write another code, scramble string equals now scramble string plus I. No, the I is an int. So I think we need to go back in the code and set I equal to a variable.
But I is what you're using to keep track of your for loop, right?
Oh,
So,
no, not I. Sorry, we need to set A equal to a variable.
or you can just add A straight up because you said it yourself. But you already know that it's going to be an A, right? Because that's what you're doing.
Right. Okay, so we could just add A.
Yep. You could also do the variable, whichever makes you more comfortable. But like you said, you already know that.
Right. This is easier. Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you know what this symbol means, right?
Yeah, it's scramble string equals what's initially there plus you're just adding it on top of it.
Perfect. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Yeah, so at this point, this looks pretty much done because it's going to go until the length minus 1. It's going to switch it up, but we need an else. Else, we're just going to do scrambled string equals, well, nothing's going to happen, right? Pretty much.
Well, you still need to add whatever was there. You can't lose a letter.
Okay, so we're scrambled string equals
Okay. plus equals. Oh, you want to do
It's
equals or plus
it's
equals?
it's just going to equal word.char at I. Because it doesn't change at all. We don't need to do the entire changed word and char plus I, whatever.
But here you're setting the entire string to a letter. Is that what you want to do?
Oh no. We're just going to set.
We can do the same thing we did over in this other section, right? Because you're just adding a character.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. So we could just set just as one random variable equal to word.char at I, and then we at the end of the code after that we can say scrambled string plus equals the entire list of variables.
The entire list of variables? You mean the?
No, sorry, the letters as they go one by one.
Okay, and you want to do that? That's in the else statement, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So is this what you were thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that looks good.
I'm not so sure the else the code under the else statement of bracket scrambled string equals itself plus word.char at I. Okay, actually that makes sense because you're adding a letter each time, right? Okay, that makes that makes sense to me. I think it should run.
There's one. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we're not taking into account. So what would happen in this for loop? So after you do this, right, you added 2 letters to scramble string, right? But you're only going up by 1, right? Actually.
Okay, we need to go up. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, it might still work. We should. Do you want to try it before checking anything, and maybe debug?
No, 1 minute. I don't think it'll work.
Okay.
Because it said every other letter, right? Sure, we can just try it just in case. Return scrambled string.
Sure. I mean, that's all up to you. This is one of the things you'll figure out as you code more. Some people are like to change the code a lot and then run it. I'm the kind of person after any little change, I'll run it again, see what happened. So it's up to you. But
isn't this supposed to be scrambled string because it's still inside the?
Oh, right. Good point. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That'd be recursion. That'd be very weird.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's try that out. Let's see what happens. There are errors in compiling your code. So variable length. Oh, we're supposed to use the. So you know why this is wrong?
No.
So basically, the reason why that's wrong is because so when you have an array, you can just do like array.length, right? Because that's like a variable of it's like an attribute of the array,
Right.
You're just getting directly a variable. Whereas strings are objects, right? So you're actually doing this length parentheses is a method that gets you that actually does something. It's not just giving you a value back, right?
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, and then what was the other? Char and string. Oh, do you know why this other one's wrong?
No, do we need an equals there or something?
No, I think we just need. So if you use single brackets, that means it's a character. If you use double brackets, that means it's a
entire string.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Small errors though. Okay, let's try it now. Okay. So tan becomes TNA, right? That's what we want, right? Okay, cool. And then let's check out this other one. Abracadabra becomes, so we rearrange the A and the B. Now it's BA. And then there is BR. Wait, where did this B come from?
Oh, it's because we're incrementing by 1. You're right. We have to increment by 2. Otherwise, it's repeating the B again. Right. It's going 1 to 2, right?
Mm-hmm. Actually, what so we get to A, right? And then So we get to A, and then we see there's a B. You know, it's an A. So we rearrange it with the B, which you know it does correctly, and then we would theoretically get to A. Can't quite. Wish you would tell us if we're right or wrong. But so you think it's wrong?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely wrong because of this one at the very least. Yeah.
So this one is cutting short. It's not doing the last one.
Yep. Well, it is doing the last one. It's just okay. So the last one is an empty string. If yeah, the last one is it's actually giving you these exact things. So this is another thing that I didn't mention. But you should be on the lookout for. So always when doing these kinds of problems, look at the question and see what kind of input you can get, because they did tell you, you might get an empty string. And
Right. Okay.
That's kind of a special case. So you have to write specific code for that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. They try to get you with those things, like very specific things. So just read very thoroughly what they tell you. But do you know how we would account for an empty string?
How we would? Sorry, what?
So if they gave us an empty string here, like what should we return, or what should we do?
It would just return the same thing. So that would be another if statement, right?
Sure. An if statement where?
Before the if word.char equals A.
Before the if what, sorry?
Before, like the very first if statement after the for loop.
Okay, like here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it can actually go at the very beginning. It doesn't matter. That placement doesn't matter.
Okay. So you do if.
So if string equals, if string word equals empty, like you just do the parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, yeah.
How do you check if it's empty?
Yeah.
I'm asking you, how do you check if the string?
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Would you just do if word equals, like equals, and then you would do the quotation, and then you do two, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you just
return string, return scrambled string, right?
returns what, sorry?
So then you would do scrambled string. You would set string word equal to scrambled string, because when you return that in the end, it's supposed to return the double parentheses, right?
Well, yeah, but if you know the string is empty, could you just like return something right there? Like you don't.
Okay, return the word then. We can just return the word.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that sounds good. Return word. Cool. Now.
We should increment by 2.
No, this wouldn't increment by 2. This would just like return, and then you're done.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now we accounted for the case where we have an empty string, right? But
yeah.
So this case we got wrong, which is the case where they just give you an A, right? It says A becomes and then blank.
Right.
So A is like, yeah. So how do we? So we're having that same problem both here and actually in all of them, right? We're having the problem where we're not getting the last string.
Okay, so underneath the if word.char at A equals I equals A, first under that we'll have another if statement to see whether if I plus 1 holds a value. If it does hold a value, then whatever code we have can go underneath that. If it doesn't hold a value, we'll just return what's been there, just like we did for the no string, like empty string.
Give me a second. I'm pretty sure this is a lot smaller than we think we. Wait. Oh, never mind. That was dumb. So okay. The change. Okay. So what? So you were thinking of changing the if statement. That's what you think is the correct solution.
Which one?
You're thinking of changing the if statement.
The incrementation, right? First, we're going by 2 instead of 1. Is that what you're talking about?
Is that what
No,
you?
no. I was saying underneath the if statement, that if statement where you are, underneath that we add another if statement.
Okay. Like here.
And we first, yeah, no. Before the code we have,
Okay.
just right below the if statement, but not the code. Just, but yeah, right below that. And we'll add if there, or the code will be implemented if there's another letter. If word.char at I+1 equals something or holds something.
Like it's not empty.
I don't know how you would code that. Equals, yeah. If it's anything other than, if it holds something, I don't know how you would code that, but.
Like you're saying if there is something there.
Right. Yes.
So what are you trying to solve here? Like the fact that we don't get the last one?
Yeah. So I don't want, like, okay, or we can code it if I+1 is less than the word length minus 1, then we can have okay, I think I know what to do. Hang on. If if I+1
I+1
equals word.length parentheses minus 1. This means that this is the last letter.
Right.
That means you have to return the string. So it'll be return scrambled word, right? Return scrambled string.
So we say we just return scrambled string?
Yeah.
Okay. Return scrambled string.
Okay, and sorry, I have a quick question before that. How do you know when to use double equal signs versus single equal signs with strings?
So one equal signs means you're assigning something, right? So
yeah, so you're setting a variable.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you actually want to check if two things have the same value, then you can do double equals.
Okay, that works just for strings though, right?
It works.
Not anything else.
It works for everything except like so if you do it with like numbers as well, like you wouldn't do 5 equals 5 equals 5. You do 5 equals 5, right? So it works for anything. Yeah, it works for anything. But with objects, there's actually a method called dot equals that will do that comparison for you, and you want to try and use that more because objects, you know, it's harder to compare objects than it is to compare like a word or a number.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so in this case, return scrambled string, and then you have another else.
Inside here.
Yeah, else.
Okay.
And the code we have is fine. I think this should work. And then can you go up to the for int I equals 0, I close is less than word dot length, incremented by 2 instead of 1.
Incremented by 2?
Yeah.
What if you get to a point where yeah, what if you get to a point where there's a letter it's not A, like what would you want to go up increment by 2 instead of 1? Like for example, say we start here, right? We get to T, right? You don't want to go by 2 because you'll skip the A.
But we're switching the A.
Right.
Like for the original one we have, like it's not giving us 4 letters, right? If we increment by 1, we'll get 4 letters. Or I guess let's run it. We'll try it first.
Okay, let's try it. So let's see what happens. Oh, okay. So now the first one screwed up. So we get the T. That means first, you know, on the first iteration, we go to this else statement. That works fine. Then we get to the second one. There's an A, right? And then we checked this. We check if I+1 is equal to word equal. Okay. So here's what's happening. We're going inside here when we get to this A, and then we're seeing like, hey, this, you know, I+1 is equal to this. So that means just return whatever string we already had, which will just be the T. So I think we
Okay,
either
so we
have to
need to
change.
scrambled string equals scrambled string plus
You want to do this?
yeah.
Okay. So let's just put this all here. But we need actually we need to leave that there, and we also need to do it there. Is that kind of what you're thinking? So basically, you know, if we get to that point, then you'll do the addition, but then you'll stop there, right? Which is the problem we were having because we were getting to A and it wasn't.
But we don't want the char change. We don't want the switching thing, right? That's still coded underneath the if statement, the first if statement.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that there.
Okay. Like this whole thing or just the char change?
As of now, just char change, I'm thinking. So we still want scrambled string equal to word string. If okay, so underneath a for child equals I, scrambled string, we still want the change, but we want the change, no, we don't want change, hang on. Scrambled string equals, scrambled string plus minus word char at I.
Where? Here?
So you have two scrambled strings. I'd say take one of them out.
Okay.
And in the other one, instead of change, put word dot char at I.
Word dot char at I. Okay.
And then return scrambled string. I think this should work.
All right, let's try that. All right, a little bit better, but still, we're still having. So now it's like it didn't swap the letter, and we lost one too.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's okay.
I guess you can explain it now.
Okay. Well, let's try going back to what we had at first because that was what was working best. Let's comment this out just in case we will on it later. Okay, so the first one works fine, right? It works like it's supposed to. And then these are the ones we're having issues with, right? So it gets to an A at the end, or like whatever is at the end, and it for some reason it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, right? So let's look at this. So let's take for example this one. So let's trace through it. So you get into the for loop, and you go through W. You're like, that's not an A, so you just put that in a string. H is not an A, so we just go in there. So just add that to the output string. Then go to O, same thing, and then we get to A, right? And so what happens when we get to A? Then this is gonna happen, right? Yeah. So I think what needs to happen is that we need to check if there's actually something next to the A. If there's nothing next to the A, then you can't really change.
That's what you did. I did if I minus 1 equals word dot, if I plus 1 equals word dot length minus 1. So you're seeing whether I plus 1 is holding something.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be equals. It's there because we're not seeing if they're the same thing. We're just because I plus 1 is a placement. Actually, never mind. That's true. That is equal to equals because we're looking at the length.
Mm-hmm.
But that should work, right? Because if I plus 1, so for this one, when we say the whoa, I plus 1 is what? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So if 3 is equal to word length is 4 minus 1 is 3, then we want the scrambled string to have what it's had before, WHO, and you're just going to add that to A, and you're going to return.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, let's go back to that then. And then let's see what I didn't quite remember what we were getting with that. I think we were having the same issue actually. So if we go back to that, let's check the who one. So we still have the same problem actually. And I think the reason why that happens is, so when we get to that last A, we're going to check the char at I, and it's going to be A, right? And then we're going to check if I plus 1, which is, you know, if I plus 1 is equal to word.length minus 1, which it is, then so actually I plus 1 won't be equal to this, I think, because so I plus 1 will be 4, right? Because we're at index 3 and you added 1, and then word length is 4 minus 1, so they won't be equal. So let's try maybe doing without the minus 1. Still the same problem. Yeah, whenever I'm not sure if I'm like going into like an if statement, I'll just like print out something dumb like this, like, oh.
No, that's okay. I'm trying to figure out why it's not working also, because it theoretically makes sense.
Yeah, I understand your logic, and I do think it should work.
It's not even printing that, so there's something wrong.
But it's not going into the if statement, right?
Yeah.
So, oh, here's our.
Oh, because it's under if I plus that if statement is under only if it becomes an A, right?
Yes.
So we have to move that out under the for loop, but not underneath the if word.char A.
Okay. But we're still, I mean, it's still a problem with the A, because remember, this is an A. Well, I guess you're right. It is a problem also with just the last string in general. All right. So you said move all this outside of the for loop?
No, outside of the first if statement, to just make it a normal if statement.
Okay. Let's just put that right here. You want to put it after this first if statement?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Let's do that.
You want to try that?
Yeah.
Okay. Still the same problem. So let's go back there. Yep, so let's go back here. So now when we get to the last A, we're going to be doing this, right? We're going to be getting the word.char at I plus 1, although that's fair. Yeah, I'm just a little confused where the last A is going.
Okay, try this for me. So on line 38, just copy line 38.
Sure.
And move it to be in front of, in between line 29 and line 30.
Okay. Line 29 and line 30.
Okay, so first it's assessing if I plus 1 is equal to the word length. So it's seeing if something is after this. Inside that, let it check whether if word.chart is A or not. So let's indent line 31.
You want to indent everything or just that?
Everything.
Okay.
Okay. And then we can comment out line 39. Let's go ahead and do the line 40 underneath line 30 also, just to see whether it's working or not.
Okay.
Just line 30. Line 39. No, sorry, line 40.
Okay.
Okay, Okay, and let's print this out. I just want to see what's working.
Okay. So now we
Wonderful. Nothing works.
I think it's because so now we're only printing out. We're only like going into the if we're at the last like index, right? Which,
right. Okay, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
How about if I plus 1 is less than word length?
Okay. Try that. Okay, so now it's actually going to the if statement, right? That's good. It's just skipping some letters, but it's doing something. So if I plus 1 is less than word length,
Less than or equal to word length.
okay,
I'm not sure how much of a difference it'll be, but
doesn't hurt to try it. Doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Would you be okay if we looked at like the proposed solution? See, maybe
sure.
we can
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's see if we can get some ideas. So, so yeah, we understood this, you know, TA, and then that's fine. And then, okay, so here's the thing you propose. Actually, I just don't think we actually have ended up doing. But they're saying like once you get to an A, you increment the index by 2 instead of 1.
Okay.
Do you want to try something like that?
Sure.
Okay, so let's get rid of this stuff because this is kind of like, you know, I feel like it's just confusing a little bit more. So let's go back to what we had at first.
Okay. Sorry, that was like a lot of mess.
No, don't worry about it. Like that's just coding in general. You're gonna try a lot of things, and a lot of things aren't gonna work, and then some of it's gonna work, and you're not gonna understand why it works. It's just part of the process, you know. It's part of the beauty. All right, so let's get rid of this, and we have our regular if statement. Oh wait, actually we don't want this one. Let me just this. Right. So we have a regular if statement. You know, when we check if the character is A, and if it's A, we swap it like we did. And if it's not, then we just add the normal thing, right? The only thing that they said to the difference was to not. So they're saying go up by 2 if we get an A, and go up by 1 if we get a regular letter. Do you know how we could do that?
So first we have to assess if it's an A or not. Underneath that, we have to increment by 2 if we get an A. If not, we just increment by 1.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's do that. I equals I plus 2. So there we're incrementing by 2 if it has an A. And then let's try this one.
Yeah.
And this one is I equals I plus 1. Just want to go up by 1. Let's try that. Oh, we still have the same problem.
I think we're still incrementing by 1 in the for loop. No, we're not.
No, we're not. Yeah.
Should we do just word length instead of word length minus 1? Because if we're incrementing by 2 or setting it equal like that, something might not work.
I'm sorry?
Instead of going from int I equals 0 to int I is less than word length minus 1, should we just go up to word length?
Sure. So you said instead of like instead of minus 1.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that.
I'm not sure. I'm just trying different things.
Okay, no problem. That's a good idea. Okay, so we had a problem. String index out of range. Okay.
Yeah, that won't work.
Yeah. You understand why, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Cool. So let's go back to what we had. So let me control Z. Okay, minus 1. So let's see what we're getting wrong. It's the same problem we've always had. So Let's try again.
Everything else is right? It's just that it's missing the last.
Actually, yeah, it's missing the last one for all of them, I think, except the first one. Because see, this one is also missing the last K. This one's missing the S. So, and this one's missing
Okay.
this.
So if let's do this.
How about you? Okay, how about you have a special condition that says, you know, if hmm,
We have to write a special condition that if there is nothing next to the letter to swap it with, or if there's nothing next to the letter at all, it just prints that letter out.
okay. Let me just real quick. I'm gonna put a print statement to see how the scrambled string looks after every iteration of the for loop, just to see like
Yeah, what's going on?
and then scramble string. Cool. All right. So let's try that. First we get T, and then we get T and A, right? Because we did the swap, which does two things at once, right? And then let's look at the one that's actually messing us up. So, right, so it's never getting, so it's never actually getting, whoa, it's just getting who. So it goes up by 1 the first time, and then we get to W8, and it goes up by 1, we get to O, and then we get here. And then change would be equal. Oh, okay, so here I think I can see the problem. So the problem is if the last thing is not an A, right? Like, I'm sorry, if the last thing is an A, then we shouldn't be looking to change anything because there's nothing next to that. So we should have
Right.
so we should have a special case where if the last thing is an A. So if, you know, if I equals, you know, word dot length, I is equals to word dot length minus 1, which is, you know, the end of it.
Yeah.
We can just return, sorry, then we can just, then what we do is just add
It to itself. It to I. Word dot
Yep.
char dot I.
So we just do scrambled string plus equals A. Cool. Oh, capital A. And then, yeah, we can put the rest, everything else in an else statement, so we can make sure that we only do it when it's not that.
But that still doesn't explain why the eggs doesn't have the S in the end. That's not an A.
You're right.
So we should still have that condition somewhere else also, it seems like.
You mean one specific for the eggs, or?
It doesn't, yeah, because eggs is not there, right? I mean, it's not just if it's underneath the A, it's missing anything that is last. So it feels like this precondition is not just underneath A, it should come as an overarching under all the preconditions.
Okay, so you just put it on top of this if statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I'm thinking, I'm not sure, but.
Oh, I think that's a good idea. Let's try that. Okay, so if I is equal to word.length minus 1, then all we do is scrambled string plus equals, and then you just do char at I, right? Because that's, you know.
Wouldn't it be word.char at I?
Right. You're totally right. My mistake. Word.char at I. And then do you want to just like return this, or do you want to like do the others?
Let's go ahead and return it so we know what's going on, or we can even print it also.
Okay, so return. Oh, got a little error. Oh, I always forget this parentheses. Here we go. Same problem still.
It's not even going.
It's not going in there, so.
That's because it's stopping when you reach I is less than word dot length minus 1. It's not. It should be I equal to word dot length minus 1, not I is less than.
Where?
In the for statement there.
Okay, it should be I is what? Equals?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, now we get nothing. Well, this one worked. But yeah, the other ones didn't work. So. Do you want to do less than or equal to here?
Sure.
All right, this is looking better. All right, I think we got it. So let's look at this. So TNA works, and then whoa works, and then yeah, and now it's actually going to the if statement. And then yeah, looks like we got it.
Yeah.
R becomes. Oh wait, actually, little mistake here. So this R and this R and this A should have swapped. This one swapped fine, but this one didn't. That's weird.
Maybe it swapped with itself because it's not assessing whether the next one is an A also. So we have to add another loop inside the A. If I plus 1 equals A, go to I plus 2 and swap with that.
Oh, you're saying oh, you're saying like this is because of the special case for.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying if we check if I plus 1 is A, and if it's A, then like don't swap because you're not supposed to swap two A's with each other.
No, you swap if I plus 1 equals A, you do the same thing that we have listed in lines 36 to 39, except you're doing it with I plus 2 instead of I plus 1.
You mean the other way around, I plus 1 instead of.
Yeah, you're just swapping the other A and like what the not the two A's basically.
Okay. So if
But before that, can you explain to me on line 28? We're going for int equals 0, so it's starting at int equals 0, to int is less than word length minus 1, right?
less than or equal.
When we did it before, we just did int I equals 0, and then semicolon int I equals word dot length. That's also going from 0 to word length minus 1. So why isn't it working? Why did that throw an error? Or that didn't throw an error, it just didn't work.
Right. It just did. Yeah, it just didn't work. So basically, I think so. It has to do with the actual. So there's only there's a range of numbers that will meet this requirement, right? So as long as like we start at 0 and we go until, for example, with 10, we go until it's 2, right? And then, but if you just do when it's equal, I believe, actually, you know what? Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. So this is what you're saying. You were wondering why that didn't work, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Right. So why doesn't that work? Well, this is a conditional. Are we even going to the for loop? I would like to know that. try that. Right, so it doesn't even go into the for loop actually.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So the way sorry it took me so long to explain. I think I had like a brain fart or something. But
No, it's all good.
the way this works right here is that basically while I meet some condition, you're going to do a loop, right? But because we set I equal to word.length, it's never, and I starts out 0 unless the word is of length 0, we're never going to meet this condition. So that's why we don't even go into the for loop.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's what you do, less than or equal.
Okay.
Because it's like, oh, it's 0 meets the condition, it's 1 meets the condition, etc., etc.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So the last problem we just have to solve is, the situation where we have two A's back to back.
Yeah.
Special case, and we need to handle it. So how do you were talking a little bit about how we handle that. How do you think we do that?
Under if word.char at I equals under sorry, I'm just gonna say under line 35.
Mm-hmm.
Assess whether doing other if statements that's inside,
Mm-hmm.
and if word dot char at I plus 1
plus 1
also equals A.
equal to A. Okay.
We're gonna copy code 39 through 41.
Okay.
42.
Okay.
And put it under 36.
Sure. There you go.
And set char change equals to word.char at I plus 2.
I plus 2.
Scrambled equals scrambled plus change. Scrambled string equals plus it. That should work.
Okay. And
then yeah, sorry, go ahead. And we're still incrementing by 1. We're incrementing by 1 this time, I think.
Okay.
No, actually, we'll keep it at 2. If it gives a problem, we'll come back.
Okay. And then we should put this
that under an else statement. So just put else. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Let's try that. Okay. Let me move this here. Let's try that.
Can you take out the going if?
The which one? Sorry.
The going into if.
Oh yes, I can. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's just a lot. I'm not able to assess the readings there.
No worries. Right. So the one we're having issues was here. So we actually ended up losing an A because so we ended up losing an A here. Yeah, the first A we actually lost it, but we did swap everything correctly. We just lost that first A.
Okay, so if word.char equals A, and then if I plus 1 equals say char change equals that, and we want change, okay, word length, okay, go to line 37, scrambled string plus minus equals word.char at, I plus change.
Sorry, you're saying, can you repeat that?
Hang on a minute.
No worries.
So line 38, put scrambled string equals I plus A.
Plus equals I plus A?
Yeah. I is equal to A only, but just so that we know. We're already asserting, that's why we have the conditional to confirm if I equals A, I plus 1 equals A. So we want line 38 to read scrambled string equals I1 plus I2.
I think I see what you're trying to say, but the problem here is that we're basically just like skipping something, right? We're skipping something here because we're going plus 2 instead of just going plus 1, right? So okay, I'll just do what you did and we can try it out. So here you said A instead of A, just like put scrambled string, or right?
No, the word.char at I
Okay, perfect. Chart I.
Plus, what did we have before? A?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry, hang on. Word.chart, I should go in line 37, exactly where it is now, but just in 37.
Okay. Instead of change.
No, it should be before change, but change should be there too.
So word.chart plus change.
Plus change, yep. And this one down below should just be what it was before, A.
Okay. That. $147. Where'd that come from? Word.chart.
Did you add another if bracket for the second if statement? Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. I'm just wondering where this 147 came from. Oh, I believe it's because is it because of that?
Do we need a different variable name?
I no, it might just be because so that when you add a character, although that shouldn't work like that. When you add a character, it might so we can just do this to string. Yeah, so when you add a character like this to a string, what happens is that it's gonna take like the so every string in Java has a number associated to it called like the ASCII number, and so it's basically doing like hey, it's basically thinking that that's what this is.
Okay, makes sense. Sure.
Yeah, so we don't. So I just think we should take. Let's try without the change. So now we have, now we have the 2A, but but it didn't swap them. All right, let's take a look at it. So we check if there's an A, which is the first thing that happens, and then we check if there's an A right next to it. Actually, if there's an A right next to it, all you need to do is like, you don't need to swap anything. You could just leave it there because remember when you only swap an A when it's next to something that's not an A.
Yeah. Okay. So then we just leave it. There's nothing into it.
Yeah, we could we just need to increment same thing we did last time. I equals I plus 1, and then we just I plus 1. Let's try that.
Awesome, that worked.
Not.
But we're still missing an A.
Yeah, we're still missing an A, but we're getting there. So, oh yeah, we still need to add the actual A. We need to add. That's why. Because even though it's like we're not swapping it, we still need to have the actual A in there.
Yeah.
There we go. I think. Yeah. So now we have the first.
Okay. Awesome.
And then we just add.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Yeah, but as you can see, like I guess wait, do you understand like the whole problem and?
Right, that makes sense now. Yeah, sorry it took a long time though.
No worries. I mean, I just want you to see it. Like, you should do a lot of these before the test, just because like it's very easy for them to take a while and stuff. And in the test, you don't really have that much time. So just like if some tips I'll give you for like the test. So things like empty string, right? Checking for the empty string is super easy, and it'll give you some points. So like just straight off the bat, just write like the most basic cases you can think of that you can solve. Always try to work for
Okay.
the simple cases, and then if you don't have time for some, for example, this art bout thing, that was a very specific case, and it took a lot of time. So if you
Right.
like, yeah, if you don't get that case, it's okay, as long as you get everything else right. So,
Okay.
um, and yeah, this problem has a second part, but I think we're a little over. So if you can, maybe try and work on it sometime, and then we can talk about it. You can message me in the group me, see if you have problems or something.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem. And you said the only other thing you're kind of confused on was uh, sorting, right?
Yeah, we can do that next time though.
You sure?
That's fine. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, feel free to message me if you like when you're learning more about sorting. If you have like any specific questions, I'll try to help you out. Like I'm usually on GroupMe, so
Okay. Thank you so much.
no problem. Well, enjoy your spring break.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.